call to order the regular Tolland Town Council meeting of October 22, 2024. We will start with the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence. So if you can please stand.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Number 4 on our agenda is proclamations and presentations. We don't have any tonight. Number 5 is public petitions, communications, and public participation. Subject within the jurisdiction of the town council. We do have a 2-minute limit on this agenda item. If you're in the room and you wish to speak, you can come up to the table if you can. Give us your name and address. If you're online and you wish to speak, you can raise your Zoom hand and we'll ask again for your name and address. Ready, Nora? We'll go to Sean Lappin online. Hold on, we're trying to get you to unmute.
Here it is.
That's
Lisa.
Oh. See if you push okay.
Okay, thank you. Try it now, Sean.
Hello, Town Council. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Hello, Town Council. Sean Lappin, 168 Mountain Spring Road. I just wanted to continue to update the council and say thank you for the progress as of late. Progress is continuing at my property and things are moving in a steady fashion. The communication has been good as of late. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else online who wishes to speak? You can raise your Zoom hand or press start. All right, assuming no one else, we will move on to agenda item number 6, which is public hearing items. We have none today. Agenda item 7A is reports of boards and committees responsible to the council.
So the Fire and House Committee did meet last week. How did you want
yeah, let me look at that. So, yeah, that's probably the longest meeting, about 2 hours, but it was very productive. We finally improved some things, and we really talked a lot about discussing what items to possibly send, what were actually recommended by the subcommittee to send to ARPA for this week. So that took a while. Some of those things were key fobs for all 4 stations, which will enhance safety and easier for volunteers, I believe, to get in and out instead of juggling around with keys. So that's all these things we still have to discuss Thursday going on. Let's see, some other items, some Home Depot items like power washers and storage cabinets. We recommended up to $5,000. And I'm trying to think what else, Jacob, we recommended, because we talked about so many things. I'll talk about the things we didn't recommend because there's a list of those too. But honestly, this Saturday is ribbon cutting. I sent out an email to past council, council here. Should be very good. Provided some light refreshments, desserts, and everything like that. So I know Christian said you can come. And Joe reached out and said he could. Jacob, I don't know about you, Alex. I haven't heard from Jen, and I know Katie can't. And hopefully Steve online will be there as well. And some past members can be there as well. So I think that's it. Jacob or Brian, did I miss any of the ones we recommended? I feel like
It'll be on the agenda, so we'll get to it.
Yeah. I know there's a laundry list. So
The overlap of the finance director.
Yes,
a couple
thank you.
things for the schools.
Well, that one's next for Jacob 3 report on
And historic lights.
Yeah.
We'll get to all of it.
Yes. So yeah, that's a blend of. I do you want to talk about ARPA more?
I think
Say
we'll,
some things.
yeah, no, I'm good.
agenda item on it later too. So.
Yeah, that one was another good meeting. We have a laundry list of what we went through and I feel like every department and every commission probably put something in, so I think we did a good job on working on all that. Brian will obviously present that agenda item tonight. And I believe as of right now, there's 34,000, although I think if I read it right, maybe getting 6,000 back from the Bruce's department. I'll have to wait for Lisa to update on that. But I did this last year on the town council. I think I only did it once last year. Probably just get fine. We should get together and just put everything by department and just report all out all the good things that we've done with all that money, because we've done a lot. You know, in the year, you put in the packet, but other than that, we've done very good with that money. So that's all I have. Really good work on that one too.
Bless you.
Um, Sort of had an informal discussion about road salt earlier this week with Deep and DPH and Eastern Highland Health. Things are progressing very well at a number of the one-off properties, including Mr. Lavin's, which is one of them here. And no changes to the plan for the vineyards. We'll be sending letters out to some of the neighbors of one of the one-off areas to try to get a little bit more information about what's going on in that area. So I think as Brian and I have been saying for months now, Eastern Highland Health has been a wonderful partner to work with. Rob is really going above and beyond, I think, in helping us. There was discussion about potential regulations on water softeners, which might be interesting to see happen on a statewide level. So I think there's progress being made. Certainly, I think the setup that we have working right now, where we have these bi-weekly calls with the state departments and Eastern Highland Health, has been very productive. And I would also say that the staff here in town is working their tail off to get the various things in order. Mike is very on top of this, so thank you very much, Brian, and to the staff here.
DPW as well. You know,
Yes, of
when you
course.
consider what they've done over the years to
Yes.
Some debate as to, well,
Yes, don't,
Thank you.
without debate, the DPW has been responsive
they have it.
on everything that has been asked of them.
In everything.
Everything, yes. So I think there's been a lot of effort that has gone into this, and I think, in the past year even, we've made substantial progress on the approach, as well as dealing with some individual properties.
Yep.
And I look forward to some more good news to come on efforts we can make in the vineyards. We will now go to 7B, which is reports of town council liaisons. Sorry.
Sure. So, PCC met last week. It was the second meeting with the new PCC. Big discussion item was the Harvest Festival. They kind of discussed the good, the bad, giving back their feedback and feedback that they heard, but generally everyone enjoyed the event, thought it was a great success. And I think for a bunch of people who kind of were thrown into this last minute, they did a fantastic job. They discussed, things to do next year. I think they have to do the Scarecrow winners as well. They discussed how they would be picking the winners for most creative. So I think they've got that under wraps now. And then the upcoming event would be tree lighting and fire truck parade. There's discussion about combining those events so that the tree lighting happened at the same time as the truck parade. All members felt that that was a good idea, and that they were going to be communicating that with the fire department and the town to see how combining those events would work out.
Thank you.
I don't have anything. I do want to say everybody that was involved helping for the trail retreats, DPW, obviously town conservation, keeping Crandall's pathways and just everything safe for the kids. It looked great and it was fantastic this past weekend, so.
WPCA was supposed to meet, but could not due to lack of quorum.
Our commission with people with disabilities met last week. So we had a great presentation from, it was called Level Up. So they're an organization that help more older kids, basically right out of high school, help find jobs and mentor them and just help them facilitate making modifications wherever they may need. So that was a really great discussion and learned a lot from that. Also, they like to do once a month topic, and this one again was about small towns. I guess small towns. It says are not required to make every existing facility accessible, but there is a list of what they can do to help those, like locating a program or activity, providing services in a different way for ADA requirements and making modifications as well. So again, it's always a great organization or great commission work rather that just is working really hard to make the town better with ADA. For them. Oh, and if anybody's interested, there'll be they're putting that presentation online with Level Up, which is really good if you have, especially older kids graduated and might need those services. You're welcome.
Planning and zoning met last night. They had an agenda item added. The owner of NIRAC came in to discuss a potential use for the property. It would require a zoning amendment. He's considering making it a storage facility or potentially selling it to someone for a storage facility. So that was just the beginning of the discussion with the Planning and Zoning Commission. I think, people generally felt like, the more better to have something there than for it to be remaining vacant. So that'll be an ongoing discussion that they'll have. They also approved a special permit modification for a carport on Hartford Turnpike. And they continued their discussion about home occupations. Largely, this is discussing the number of vehicles, commercial vehicles, trailers, that kind of thing that should be permitted for major and minor home occupations. So that's an ongoing discussion that they have. That's it for planning and zoning. And then we do have a land acquisition advisory committee meeting on Thursday, I believe. Okay.
Thank you. I attended the Historic District Commission meeting last week. They did not have any COAs in front of them. There's some work being done on various properties throughout the district, but all of it was like for like, and did not require a COA. However, they wanted me to just institute the new cost for COA applications, which we discussed in a previous meeting. While it didn't need our approval, Brian and Dave Cochran were kind enough to keep us in the loop on the fact that that cost is going up, and that the driver of the increase is the cost to notice public hearings in the newspaper. So they officially did vote on that. They also brought up, one of the HGC members specifically brought up a concern about parking on the carriage road. And this is from a resident who lives on the carriage road. So after that meeting, I sent Brian an email and promised him I was going to ask some questions on what's going on there, because the resident had some safety concerns and also just access to their property concerns. So Brian, do you want to give us a quick update? You want me to ask you the questions?
Certainly. While I have not connected with Tracy yet, I believe that we have a good solution. And this is after discussion with Scott and John, Public Safety Director and DPW Director. You, Town Council, gave us a golf cart, and her main complaints are during the farmers market. every Sunday morning. I talked to Brenda Faluzzi, who sets up the farmer's market, who we are gonna provide her with cones or barricades, one or the other, that she can keep right on the cart, and in the morning when she comes out, just drop the cones adjacent to the driveways on the no parking side, so that no one parks there, so they have enough to back out and go, and we think that'll be an easy fix. If there's other events, happy to put them out there too. If there's an event on the green, pretty much that golf cart's gonna be there anyways. We'll be able to maneuver that stuff around. It's a total of 3 driveways. It looks like there'd be a lot more. There's only 3 residential driveways there. And Brenda can handle that in 30 seconds.
Wonderful. And I know one of the other concerns was about town employees parking. That's
Yes.
an administrative thing. Thank you.
It's been addressed.
Thank you. So thank you very much. I appreciate that you were so quick in addressing those things. I think if you are able to circle back in with the resident,
100%.
that I'm
Can't
sure,
wait to do it.
yeah, I'm sure you can. I think that'll be good. I know that the general consensus from the historic district was, property owners on the carriage road need to be able to access their homes, leave their homes, and just some general safety concerns. So I appreciate that you were so quick in addressing those.
Got it.
Thank
Thanks.
you. That's it for me. We shall move on to item 8, which is new business. 8.1 is the quarterly financial update for the period ending September 30th, 2024.
All right, so Chris Jordan, our Assistant Finance Director, is here to make the presentation. Should she be needed, Lisa Hancock is on Zoom as well, but Chris Jordan, thanks.
Thank you. Okay, as of September 30th, our revenue, our overall revenue, is estimated to exceed the budget by the end of the year by about $67,000, $67,224. And this is mainly from an increase in the estimate for the collection of property taxes. Now, however, that's the overall, there will be an estimated shortfall of $242,976. But the reason it has to show as a shortfall is there's a $310,200 use of fund balance that's already budgeted. And the projected surplus of $67,000 is netted against that. And because we haven't taken the money out of the fund balance yet, it has to show, we have to show a potential shortfall. So all that really means is that all things being equal, if we work the revenue against the use of fund balance, instead of taking out 310,200, we'll only have to take out 242 in order to balance the budget. So it's working in a positive direction. The property taxes are, as I said, are projected to exceed the collections by $67,000. The breakdown is the current levy by $3,046. Prior year collections are expected to exceed by $55,758. And the motor vehicle taxes are expected to exceed by $8,288. So all that together is $67,092, and that's by June 30th. The intergovernmental revenue, no real changes expected to meet the budget. And the reason that is the town has been advised that unfortunately we are not going to receive the municipal revenue sharing for excess sales tax. I know we received a notification and potentially were, but just the very end of August, we received information that we're not going to receive it because I guess the tax collections for the state of Connecticut has been weaker than they had projected. So there's really nothing left to give out. The intergovernmental revenue for education is going to meet the budget. Charges for services like licenses, permits, and fees are going to meet the budget. Investments
and miscellaneous income, our current budget is $656,375, and I'm confident we're gonna meet that, even modestly exceed that. So far, we have earned $370,504, and that leaves $285,871 left in the budget to earn. I know it's easy to just say, well, this is 1 quarter times 4, and that's what we're gonna do, but it's not really linear. Mainly because we collect a lot of revenue, you know, the lion's share in 2 parts a year, and then we spend down. So, but it actually, where we are now is a little bit more than I thought it would be, because although we're having rate reductions, they're not quite the extent that has been predicted. And we're not really seeing it substantial in our accounts. We are, you know, the biggest, you know, reductions we're seeing is in our top tier earnings accounts, where we, you know, shortly we were getting like, you know, almost 5.5%. Now we're just hovering around the 5% mark. But all of our accounts below that, even our mid-range money market accounts, they haven't seen any reductions at all. So we'll, you know, see how long this can last. But I'm optimistic about it. The expenditures are, overall savings are projected to be about $22,902. And that's projected to the end of the year. Mainly we have savings from attrition, mainly from the public safety trooper benefits rate. The administrative department is projecting a $3,900 savings, mainly from workers' comp, and that's netted against other minor budget shortfalls. Public Works will probably have a $25,000 shortfall, and we have a refuse and recycling shortfall by $28,500. And this is probably going to be covered by savings from the trooper benefits if we can't find any surpluses anywhere to cover that, either within Public Works or other departments. The savings that we have in the public safety is projected to be about $38,348 out to June, and this is mainly from a reduction in the state police trooper benefit rate. We had originally budgeted and gone on what we were known to be at a 47.65% rate, and we were notified that rate is reduced now to 37.24. So that's a pretty significant reduction. The registrar of voters, there could be a possible shortfall after the presidential election in the wages area, mainly because of our early voting and whatever needs are going to have to be for the polls. But after the election, we'll have a better idea of what the funding needs, if any, really over for the registrar of voters is going to be. But the election is really going to pretty much wait and see for that. Employee attrition, there are savings in that in let's see, Public Works, Public Safety, and Human Services. Some of the savings are being used to hire temporary help, and we are only reflecting savings in the Human Services area from the Senior Services Center vacancy. Other financing uses, there's no interdepartmental transfers that have been done except for the payroll contingency transfer to cover negotiated wage increases. Budgetary fund balance could be reduced by $220,074, and this was initially planned on a $310,200 reduction, but we will not know the exact number that's going to be until we do our closing on June 30th. And this is a highly it's hard to project exactly what it's going to be, but it's you know it's a highly moving target. So we'll have to wait and see. The eChip cash balance as of August 31st is $2,394,000, and we only have data out to August because we get reports from them once a month, but they're audited on their end, and that there's a process for that, so it takes a little longer to come out. So as of this report, we're still waiting for their August audited statements, and then I'll have a better update. But as of August, the cash balance is told me $2,394,000. And it's estimated to be $1,458,000, and that's unencumbered up to June. And the total cash for June altogether will be $2,807,000. For each of July and August, there was positive $93,952, and that's the net revenue that each took in, less the expenses, plus interest earned. So that will was reduced by $1,349,000. That's the IBNR and risk corridor reduction. And until the end of the year, there's an estimated $413,000 that will be an estimated positive revenue over expenses. So by June, the net result is $1,458,000 for Egypt, which will be the projected cash balance. But again, that's a moving target. There's a lot of variables, and with only 2 months of data out of 12, I wouldn't, it's very difficult to make any hardline projections after that. And for the moment, that's all I have. Are there any questions?
Somebody else want to go first, because I raised this question. On the last page, I just wrote this one down, the projected balance on the
Egypt?
That 1,458,000.
Yep.
Does that include the CD or not the CD?
Yes.
It
Yep.
does include the CD.
It does include CD. Yep.
Okay, if I missed that, I'm sorry.
Yep.
All right, let me go over to my notes. Just going through it. Okay, so if I went back, I didn't have the spreadsheet from July when we did this last, I think. But I thought for investment miscellaneous, we were about $1 million, but it's less now.
We're in a new fiscal year.
Right, so it's gone down though.
So we're in a new fiscal year. That fiscal year's closed out. This is for this fiscal year.
Okay.
Right.
That's where.
Yeah.
Clarifying that, I was just like, where did that?
Yep.
Where'd that go? So, and then I guess I'm a little unclear on the unfunded balance. So it's 300,000, but we're only gonna be using 200,000. Is that? the
Well,
estimate?
it's yet to be determined, and it has to be presented this way. There's kind of rules why.
Yeah.
But it's the projected budgeted use of fund balance right now is $310,200. So, but because that transfer hasn't been done yet, money hasn't come out of the savings account, but because we already have it, it's not, hasn't been taken out, hasn't been spent yet. So it has to be shown that way. And if we have any kind of revenue or other kind of shortfall, that gets netted against that use of fund balance.
Right.
And the reason for that is that, just the way how I think of it is that, budget has to be balanced, revenue and expenses, but use of fund balance isn't a real revenue source. So it's not like operating revenue, for lack of a better word. So because it's still there, the negative 242 means that if we don't use that 310,200, that's the current projected for shortfall.
Okay.
Is that
I think so.
cleared up a little bit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot there. And you catch us at the beginning, you said we were not getting some sort of revenue from the state?
Yeah, we originally got hopeful that we were going to be able to participate in revenue. Let's see what they.
Municipal revenue sharing.
Yeah, municipal revenue sharing, and we get the email from OPM. Please be advised that after making required statutory payments from the municipal revenue sharing pursuant to section of the Connecticut General Statutes, there is no remaining funds for fiscal year 24 to provide a municipal revenue sharing grant. While the initial set tax revenue projections at time of budget adoption were higher, the actual sales tax collections were weak through the duration of fiscal year 24, leaving no available funds for a grant payment.
Do we know how much that grant payment was gonna be, or we didn't know at all?
No, they came out with no numbers.
Okay, Were we expected though, some, is that?
Nope, we never expected in the first place, and it was kind of exciting to think that it might happen
All right,
for,
good, I didn't know. if we
you know,
were
for
happy.
48 hours and then,
Short bit.
Yeah.
I don't know, so I answered, let's just go here. We touched base on the DPW and everything and the other thing, I think that's all I have. I'll listen to what other counselors have, and if I have any follow-up questions,
Okay,
yeah, sometimes it's.
I just wanted to follow up on one of Councilor Yudichek's questions. So, with respect to the budgeted, we were gonna use the unassigned fund balance of 310,000 and at least projected at this point. The reason that that number goes down to 242 is because we're expected additional revenues of about 67,000 that we weren't anticipating. And so that's how they,
exactly.
okay,
Exactly. And that's all out to June,
okay,
you know, and again, I'll caution, it's still a moving target, but
at least at this point. Okay. And the other question I have, I'm not sure if this is for you or for Brian, I can't remember. So the shortfall for refuse and recycling, is it because we're charged like by tonnage or something and we was more than we anticipated? Do we know why?
Lisa, you want to handle that? Or Mike?
Sure. Well, Mike's online also. I can answer it. Yes, we get charged by tonnage. We do have certain estimates. Of course, the per ton fee did go up. We did try to budget for it. We had a significant increase this year. And from what we're looking at some of the trends right now, it looks like we may fall a little short, but we're watching it. So that's just the initial projection. We may end up with lesser tonnage later on in the year. Again, the first couple of months of the year makes it very difficult to estimate anything at this time.
Thank you.
Any other questions? I have a couple questions. First of all, I continue to thank you, Lisa, and the whole department for doing these. These are incredibly helpful.
thanks.
And so thank you very much for putting the time into making this happen. The information here is very good, and I really appreciate when I saw the initial draft, I had a few questions, and all of those questions have been addressed. So
Great.
thank you
Yep.
very much for doing that.
You're very welcome.
I think that helps the council and the public to understand. In terms of e-chip, I know that you only have 2 months worth of data and it's hard to project out, but based on these projections, it sounds like the budgeted amount for e-chip for fiscal year 25, we're on track to not be short at the end of the fiscal year.
Exactly,
Okay.
exactly.
And maybe later in the fiscal year, we might be able to get a better projection as to what the impact might be for next year.
Yeah, yeah, I would definitely say so. The more we go on, the more we'll have a better handle on things.
Okay. Great, and I think, if I remember correctly, our, e-chip contribution between fiscal year 24 and 25 was flat. We didn't change it.
Yeah, I don't think it
There
got,
was some changes in other insurance, but these lines for both Board of Ed and, town staff remained flat after the previous year, which went up considerably. So it's good to see that we're, still kind of going steady.
Steady is good.
Yes, steady
Yeah.
is really good. Any other questions?
I'm just sorry,
Yes,
I missed one, sorry about that. Also, you touched base on the elections.
Yes.
Did I hear it? We might have a shortfall.
Yeah, we might have a shortfall, but we can't really put a hard number on it. We're just not really sure how much extra staff is gonna need for the early election and the polls. We've already had a pretty good number for it, and I think it's still, I don't think that necessarily means there's going to be a shortfall. But we're thinking that potentially there could be, because now the different estimates of how much more money might be needed. Based on the early election, early voting.
It wouldn't be that much, Colleen.
Okay.
And I know Mr. Doves tried to budget as best he could predicting this. We got some money from the state as well. I mean, 4,000 to help me get through this. It's been busy. Hopefully next week or next year we can have or following years, a a better gauge on what we need, because this is the first,
Yeah.
we really don't know.
Right.
You know, and, you know, I got, our town clerk staying later too as well, and so, we're really trying just to shuffle the deck around to make sure, everyone's compensated and that we can afford it. We'll be better budgeted moving forward, but I don't think he was that off this year either, so I'll let you know, we'll let you know.
Yeah, I was just wondering, I know our staff is working really hard, so. All right, and you answered that other question about the grant, so.
Thank you. Seeing no other questions, we're good. Thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chris.
Glad to help.
Thanks, Lisa.
All right, we can move on to agenda item 8.2, which is the consideration of a resolution for ARPA subcommittee funding use recommendation for a total of $78,895.
1 second here as I catch up and dealing with some other stuff outside external to us. Okay, so our ARPA subcommittee has met, done a lot of work vetting through so many things throughout the year. We're coming towards the end. Our latest recommendations on what we want to push through is a total of $78,895 of ARPA funding. That is a $30,000 for the finance director overlap that we're anticipating. It could be as long as 2 months now, depending on some needs and how the interviews go. $6,300 for the historic lights installation. $10,000 for an OptiGuard elevator door edge out of the BOE. It's required out of the Otis contract in the maintenance contracts. They classified that as a high priority, as well as the equipment trailer and the snow removal equipment as well, for $32,000 for a total of $78,895.
Are there any questions?
Could you describe the addition and the lights that are going in the historic district, Brian?
Yes.
The choice that was made for that?
Yes. For background, there is no policy for anything in our town charter or code in regards to streetlights, which lends us a lot of latitude. We have approximately 120 streetlights around town. Most are typically the full-size ones you see off the light posts. We pay for those each year. We have a utility fund. We go through the budget process. It's a quick, small little one-liner. I want to say each light costs about $100 a year or so for the full-size lights. I don't have a number on these smaller lights here, but they are all LED and efficient, and getting better, I'm sure, all the time. The 3 lights will be placed equidistant to how they're distanced now, starting at moving this way outward. The last house that has a light is that yellow house before, like the B-low in the senior center, that square house there.
Yeah.
So we equidistant out the next 3. There is some benefit to the town in that we own that B-low property. There's a structure there. We'd like to have some sort of electricity there as well. So those are the 3. Those are where they intend the 3 lights to go. This was a recommendation from the Historic District Commission. Should it get approved, they would, I believe, according to charter, and I reread it today, 96.4, they would have to apply for a COA for their own lights to go into the district. Streetlights is defined in there. It's the lights physical paid for, the labor is what you're seeing the remainder of the money here that we have. I had a good conversation with the new chair of the Historic District Commission, Tanya Kelly. She is doing a wonderful job directing the Historic District Commission meetings and everything thus far. We're very, very fortunate to have her moving forward. You know, historically, there's been some hiccups. I look forward to a smooth relationship, and one of the reasons, that's a small reason why. Safety-wise, lights are good for safety. I have no data that suggests that that's going to make it any safer down there, other than lights on the side of the road are making pedestrians safer. End of discussion. Like to have them all over town, but we just can't afford that. So that's all I have. If anyone has any questions, I hope I cleared up.
Oh, that's great
with that.
sorry if I missed this, but is there a specific location we're putting the lights in, or that's to be determined?
To be determined, and that would be done with Scott Lappin
Okay.
and Tanya Kelly, herself, and maybe Jim, our buildings person, and determine where they go. Again, equidistant, same lamps that we have, somewhat equidistant if we can, you know, if there's a driveway or something, we can't, but as close to that as possible, to stretch it out. You've walked it last year at Christmas. We banged that right out of the senior center and walk up how dark it is there.
Sure.
This would, enhance that much better with lighting down that way, stretch out the historic district lighting almost to the extent of the historic district itself. It'll bring it right to, the sign that says, with the historic district sign. We're fairly certain.
I think it's good too. I mean, right now, as we're losing daylight, as we're getting close to pretty much no light at 5. All the kids getting out late from the daycare or whatever traffic's down there, you know, the more visible, the better. Yep. So that's great.
I just wanted to clarify, what was the impetus behind the Historic District Commission recommending it? Is it, I know there's like been accidents sort of in that general area, is there just, was their thought that it was a safety issue?
Safety has been mentioned, and there is no doubt that lighting makes pedestrians
Mhm.
safer. That has been mentioned. I think my personal, it's gonna make it both look better and it'll make it safer as well.
And-
I would, as to which one played a role and how much weight was in either, that is open to debate.
Okay, but we already have the lights, so they're just sitting there right now. This would just allow us to install them.
Correct.
Okay.
That was a big part too.
I would add that the Historic District Commission did vote in favor of making this request for ARPA. Any other questions? I have a question. The overlap for the finance director, if for some reason you don't need it all for whatever reason, is there a way to utilize all those funds without having to give them back?
Yes, Lisa, you want to explain that how we're gonna move that 30,000 for the overlap?
Yes, I couldn't hear what Katie was saying. What was your question, please?
You know, I don't even need to know the
Okay.
specifics. My question was, is there a way to use the overlap money if for some reason we didn't need it for overlap? But as long as you
Yes.
say the answer to that question is yes, I'm okay.
Yes.
I don't need to
Yes.
know. Thank you.
Then, yeah.
And the 2 Board of Ed items are high priority items that came from the Board of Ed,
Yep.
is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And so there is a remaining balance left in ARPA. Is there a meeting scheduled to address this week? Thank you, I'm sorry. I'm
No, it's okay, we'll be busy, very
Okay.
busy at that meeting too.
Sounds good. Is there any further discussion? Yeah.
Just out of curiosity, are we planning on using the remainder of the funds for this next meeting? Is that, like, are we coming up on a deadline for ARPA?
Yeah,
So this is it, we have to kind of
yeah,
plan for the remainder.
so it ends in December, so we're going right up to.
My
the-
guess is we'll be running right up until,
Yeah.
New Year's Eve. I think we'll all be at an ARPA meeting.
Yeah, right. And then-
Toasted
Just
in the
to
new year,
make sure
so.
you use those last little bit.
Right,
yeah.
right.
I think we have a good list going on Thursday, and if we approve it, I'm not saying we are this week, but I think Lisa said last week, what, if we did approve it all, which again, we don't know, because we get a vote, but I
Sure.
think we end with, what, Lisa, $3,000 last week. So it's right,
Perfect.
but then we might be getting more, so anyways.
Yeah, I would just add the other big project is the garage, which is
Oh, yeah,
put under
facility.
contract yet, so depending on how that works out, it may be.
We've been
stay-
Additional.
Yeah, so we'll see.
We'll be sure to use the funds.
Yeah.
In the appropriate ways.
All right, there is a resolution then in our packet. sorry, agenda item 8.2 is a resolution to utilize the ARPA funding as laid out. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved by Counselor Murray, second by Counselor Newman. Is there any further discussion on this? All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
That's unanimous. Thank you. So agenda item 8.3 is the consideration of a resolution for approval of the town council 2025 meeting schedule. It's that time of year again. And you know, did I say this? You just want to-
Oh, and the suspense is killing me.
I'm sorry. I was-
Apologize, I was looking for something.
Yes, keep in mind that we also have a meeting scheduled as its natural occurrence on, coming up for Christmas Eve on 12/24. While we're weighing in on this, you can weigh in on that. So this is according to our town code, when we have the town council meetings, but I believe you have the option to adjust that if you guys decided to, but this is how they all fall, and these are the dates, and we're required to approve them.
Okay, is there discussion about 2025 schedule?
This is separate, the Christmas Eve.
Yeah, we
meeting
can
is a
take,
separate
yeah,
matter.
well, let's do 2025 first, and then let's talk about the 24th of December.
I just have one question about this one, and forgive me if I'm just forgetting it, but I noticed this only goes up till before the next municipal election. Do we vote on that immediately? Okay.
In our first
I
meeting.
remember
we
that.
vote on it. And the first
Okay.
meeting of the new town council is set by town charter.
Okay.
So that meeting is automatically set, and at that meeting, we set the remainder of the 2024 and probably the 2025, or the remainder of 2025, and probably 2026 then.
Yeah, that would make sense. Okay, that was all I had.
Any other questions about the 2025 schedule? All right, let's do the resolution on the 2025 schedule, and then we'll come back to December 24th. Is there a motion to approve draft resolution in agenda item 8.3, which is the 2025 town council meeting schedule?
So moved.
Moved by Councilor Moran, is there a second? Second by Councilor Buckler, is there any further discussion? All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
It's unanimous. All right, so as the town manager indicated, we do have a meeting scheduled, a regular meeting scheduled for December 24th. That is the second meeting of the month, naturally occurring on that date. Do you have a recommendation on what we should do there? Should we just cancel it? Should we?
That was our recommendation. There was nothing heavy sitting there. We've been leaving it bootleg anyways, so because I figured we wouldn't go through with it, so we've been leaving it off, so we couldn't cancel.
Okay. And I think if we needed to schedule a special meeting, we would just do that, sort of like we normally do. All right. So, there's a vote on that? What do you think? Sarah,
Now,
please.
it doesn't technically need to be a motion and.
All right, how about this? Is there any objection to canceling the December 24, 2024 regular town council? Any objection to that? All right, so seeing no objection, we will cancel that meeting, and hopefully we don't need a special meeting, but if we do, you guys know how to get hold of us. All right, so then we'll move on to agenda item 8.4, which is consideration of a resolution to approve a bid waiver for the purchase of diesel and heating oil for the July 1, 2025 through June 30th, 2026.
Thank you. So between Mike Wilkinson and Peter Zaba of the Board of Education, they look and follow the commodity of our heating oil, diesel and such. And they noticed that it had dropped considerably. Mike Wilkinson's here to talk about it further, but their recommendation, and we've gone through this almost every year, they're watching or make recommendations, we discuss it. They're recommending that we forego the bid process and jump on this to a savings of, I believe it was around $27,000. I think I could be wrong with that, but Mike's here. Can you fill us in, Mike?
Yeah, so periodically, and I have to be honest, Peter watches this a lot more closely than I do. So he watches it almost daily, but periodically he looks at it. If he sees prices that are low, we might talk about it, jumping in. Our bid normally isn't until February and March, so we have to estimate really what the cost is going to be in our initial budget. The prices did dip down last week. They're up a little bit more, a couple cents more today. But what this just allows is for us to kind of watch the market. If they continue to stay down, we could lock in. If they don't, if they go back up, we don't have to lock in. We could go and do the bid in February. If for some reason some issue comes up and it shoots up 20 cents above to what our current price is, we wouldn't lock in, obviously. But it just gives us an option in the short term, if they stay low, that we could lock in. Then we know what we have budgeted next year, and it would be, in theory, below what we budgeted this year. So there'd be a locked-in savings in the budget. So that's what it really allows us to do. A little flexibility with the market prices currently a little bit lower than what we're locked in at right now.
Any questions? I have a question. Is this the vendor that you've been purchasing from in recent years?
Yeah, this is a vendor that usually is part of our bid process. There's really only one or two vendors that usually bid on our bid when we do it through CROG, and this is one of them who usually gets our bid. Generally, again, there's only a couple that can bid because obviously there's costs bringing it here and things like that. But so yeah, this is our current vendor who got the bid last year. So it's the same bidder, yes.
Did we go out to bid last year?
Yes, for diesel and heating oil, we did, yes.
And you're thinking that just based on current relationship and the offer that they've made on locking in, that it's in the best interest of the town to waive the bid this year?
Yeah, well, they're our current bidder. So what that helps us do as far as going from year to year, if we have leftover gallons at the end of the year or anything like that, we can usually work with them because of the bidder next year. Often if it's a different bidder, then we have to pay out whatever leftover gallons we have. So that's one reason. And again, the way the bid works, you know, there's a price that comes, there's a price of the commodity, and then a company will put an adder on it because that's basically their cost. So it's very fractional, the difference between any bidder. And like I said, there's only one or two bidders that usually would be able to give us a price just because of where we are and where they deliver to. So, but they're a very good bidder. We've been doing work with them for a long time. So we're comfortable with where they are and what they're offering as being very competitive.
Thank you. Any further questions on this? Okay. So we do have a motion before us for agenda item 8.4, which is a resolution to approve the bid waiver for the purchase of diesel and heating oil for July 1, 2025, June 30th, 2026. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved by Councilor Murray. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilor Moran. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. Thank you. All right, we're on to agenda item 8.5, which is appointments to vacancies on various municipal boards and commissions.
Yes, so we have one appointment to the Veteran Recognition Commission tonight, Joel Lopez. He's a 30-year veteran of the Navy, retired as Lieutenant Commander. I think he'll be a great asset to the Veterans Recognition Commission. So we definitely recommend him. And then we also have one reappointment to the Veterans Recognition Commission, Carl Davis. We also have two. Sorry, Sarah Beth, there's two. Sorry, I'm missing. There's a lot tonight. Yes, there is. You're right. Then we also have 4 reappointments to the Tolland Public Library Foundation and 3 reappointments to the Permanent Celebration Committee. All of these people have been serving previously and have been doing a fantastic job. And certainly we thank them because town would be able to operate without all of our great volunteers. So I would recommend all of these people be reappointed, as well as Joel for an appointment to the VRC.
Did Joe, Counselor Shea raise any concerns or objections?
No.
Well, thank you for all the work that's a lot of people to review, so thank you for that.
And thanks to Sarah Beth as always.
Is there a motion to approve the appointment and the reappointments? Moved by Counselor Butler, second by Counselor Noonan. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. That's unanimous. Thank you. We are on to agenda item 9, which is old business, of which there's none. Agenda item 10 is report of the town manager.
Thank you. Early voting is going off very well. Again, we're all kind of learning here, but it's been fantastic. Roughly 500 first day, roughly 400 today. A lot of work for our town clerk, a lot of absentee ballots as well. In talking with the registrars, I sense this will be our largest turnout ever in town for an election. And my guess is that'll be across most of the country as well, when you have this much opportunity to vote. The Harvest Fest, for those that attended, you saw how great it was. I'm so thankful to so many people that just stepped up out of nowhere to help the new PCCC, but also Bruce Watt, Colleen, Udacek, I'm sure Brenda Faluzzi, just so many just came out of nowhere just to help. Paula Jakopczyk, what's her last name now, Sarah? Paula Wilson from M&T Bank came out to volunteer. She can't be on the committee. She's not a resident, but she wanted to volunteer. So it went great. And you saw Joe here earlier, but his thing was a great addition. By all accounts, the kid zone, full length of the green, all of that were great. Some lessons learned, but everything was fantastic, and we'll look to build on this with an installed PCC next year, and we're moving forward. While we're in that, we do have the Festival of Lights parade coming up between the fire department and also the tree lighting. Traditionally, those have been on 2 different weeks. Traditionally, the fire department has wanted to do it on the same day as the tree lighting, and that was never really considered an option. However, the new PCC, I'm having a problem tonight, welcomes that idea. We will meet Monday, I believe. Did we ever get that set up to discuss? Tuesday, okay. And look to have those both on one night this year, which I think is just gonna be fantastic. There are some things to work through, as there always are, to make sure that everyone's content, but we'll, I don't have a problem trying to iron those things out, and we'll try to get that done. So more to come on that. 911 that went down today. Town County Mutual Aid, TN as we call it, and John and Public Safety. We have a backup plan. The backup plan worked. While much of the state was experiencing problems, we were not. So very happy to have them. While we're in that, there's a lot of fires around the state. Berlin, I believe, is experiencing a significant one. They have asked for resources. We have given them resources. There was a firefighter killed today there. We have sent a supervisor and our chaplain, as he's usually one of the ones who shows up at these things. All the towns around us, everyone has given us some people. We have had to shuffle the deck around with some equipment in regards to some things that John may need to take out of town. If John takes something out of town, like a leaf blower, we're gonna grab one from DPW. Director Lappin's facilitated that, so that we're not missing anything off of our public safety trucks while we deal with that. It has been very dry, and as the weather gets colder, and we'll put I talked to John about putting some messaging out. It's very dangerous when people have their wood stoves, fireplaces, dump the ashes outside. It's incredibly dry, and we don't anticipate anything for a while. So it's going to be, we'll put out some public safety information on that. I thank John for Chief Vitale for all his work. Bruce Watt and the flash sale in regards to our summer camps sold out in minutes as usual, to meet our number, for ARPA. So I thank Bruce and his staff. That is literally what ARPA is about. Again, that was about getting kids back out, back involved. So I mean, it is the perfect cookie cutter use of that funding. So Bruce did a great job, and so did the ARPA Commission. Ribbon cutting Saturday, full schedule there. I will attend as well as many others. I hope to see you there. The Trail of Treats, as Councilperson Noonan had mentioned, went very well. Look to try to help out a little more on the town side next year and try to make sure that it's just such a great event. It's getting bigger and bigger. We want it to run smooth as well. Conservation Corps is just doing great work. I want to thank council. You know, we found a lot of equipment around town that we put out to surplus, but one of the things we didn't was an ATV that had been sitting stagnant for years and years and years. They are using the heck out of it. John had a trailer that was donated to him, like a small landscaping trailer that he didn't have a use for. It didn't cost us anything. It was donated to us by a former resident, and that they're using that as well. So they're just doing great things with the equipment that you gave them. So, you know, between that, you know, the boat is not here yet, but the golf cart and that ATV at a very low cost is helping our volunteers, which really keep this town running. Helping our volunteers get the job done. I'm sniffing around, and I've had some requests to somehow close the carriage road or the green down on Halloween night to make it safer. I guess it's a big deal. Kids come to the green, run around the green, and it's fantastic. I'll explore that. Minimum public safety, you know, trooper or two kicking around there during the hour or two that we need them. But we'll look at just discussing with John. We're gonna noodle around. We'll talk again on Tuesday. But just if anyone has any ideas or considerations or suggestions, I'm happy to take them offline. The electric blue is ongoing. Legal processes with that. The public safety consultant that we had hired to do their research, it's ongoing. They don't have a date as of yet, but Mike could check with them again this week. So, and I believe that's all I have at this point. Questions about that?
Rose Manager.
Thank you. Might have already been answered. So I thought we received an email, maybe it was a month ago. So we're still gonna be AAA bond rated?
We are.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
You mentioned that before, but it's like 4 towns, right?
It was in the 4 towns what?
Didn't get it.
Oh, I don't know if other towns didn't get it. I know that we retained ours.
Yeah.
It was close.
Yeah.
In both Fitch and then the other one. We retained both. And they also, the other firm, like Fitch, Standards and Poor's, I believe, made their similar changes that Fitch had made, and we survived both of them thanks to Lisa and the work and to council really too for you know, sticking to our policies.
How long is that good for?
About a year.
Just a year?
Yep.
Processing it. You answered the study one. I figured we were coming up pretty close to when it started. And I thought I also might have heard or saw something. Katie, is it gonna be on the agenda, the Board of Ed 2%? Because I think it was right that we can't really have an ordinance anymore. Just
You've got legal opinion on this.
I have not gotten the legal opinion back, the second one yet, but I did, but
well,
we got it from Waltz.
Yeah.
I just to allay any concerns.
okay.
I want to get a second opinion
Yeah, of course.
from Rick and see what he has to say.
Yeah, that makes sense. So
Thank you.
I just, yeah, so makes sense. But anyways, I just was following up on those few things.
Yeah, and one more on that if I can, Colleen. Lisa did some offline research as well.
Yeah.
She came up with the same conclusion.
Yeah,
Too.
yeah, so, all right. Questions for Brian?
Any other questions? Okay. We'll move on to agenda item 11, which is adoption of minutes. We have before us the regular meeting minutes from, October 8th, 2024. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved by Councilor Murray. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Counselor Moran. Is there any discussion on these minutes? Without any discussion, with all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Unanimously, thank you. Item 12 is correspondence to council. Counselor Yudichak.
Thank you, yes, so, let me see, so I believe Tony Holt sent the entire council an email about, well, it's actually tomorrow night, they're gonna be talking about the SRO position. You know, Alex, you were very interested in that.
I'll be there.
Okay. So, there we go, so I just wanted to mention that. And the Commission on People with Disabilities said us and PCC and some others that it was a successful day, and I believe they'll be sending something in the future about their feedback on maybe some things that could be better. Sarah Beth or Brian sent something today. There was a petition that went for the senior center regarding disappointment that Jackie Dubay did not receive the job. And then a resident upset about a Facebook post that was posted about her daughter. So, we should remember on a different board. It's all. Anybody has any, I think I missed.
Did we? Sorry, we all get that last email?
Which one?
The one about someone upset about.
Yeah, it was a week ago. I could forward to you.
Okay.
Yeah,
Just not.
yeah, it was pretty lengthy. So, yeah, I can. Does anybody else need it?
No, I got it.
You got it?
Yeah.
Okay.
What's it about again? Sorry.
It's
I was thinking.
Susan lives in Star.
Oh, yes, okay, thank you, yeah.
I didn't wanna say the
Sorry.
name, but
Thank you,
yeah.
no, thank you, sorry about that.
I know
Yeah.
it's just us, but yeah.
Yeah.
That's the one.
Oh, thank you.
Alright,
Thank you, now.
alright, yeah, okay. That's it. Yeah, of course.
Agenda item 13 is chairperson's report. Last week I held my chair hour. I had a resident come talk to me. I actually referred the resident to the Board of Ed. It was more important than the matter. Met with town manager. Got to see the owls at the library room, which was packed. Actually, the librarian scooched us out and made us go outside and see the northern lights at night. So it was quite a nice evening.
So bummed. Yeah.
I wanted to talk about the impact of our town budget. I'm a single mom. My expenses are going up all the time. I work really hard as a public servant. I volunteer my time to the town, and this town budget impacts my family, my kids, my lives, our lives. Decisions that we make in this room and when we vote impact my family and my neighbors and everybody living in Tolland. Tonight, I want to take a minute to express my gratitude. I'm really thankful to live here in Tolland, to be part of such an amazing community, to have great neighbors, new and old friends throughout town. The budget is the accumulation of hours and hours and hours of work from our town staff, and so is implementing the budget. And while that is their job, it is done in such a way that it feels like there's an extra bit of care in that work. I am very grateful to our town staff, to our Board of Ed staff who take custody of our children every day, thank goodness, and teach them. So I did want to just take a minute to thank you. I know the budget process is just about to start again, and I am more than aware of how that cycle feels never ending and thankless. But it makes a difference. It impacts every single resident who lives here. And the work that you guys do is really important. So thank you for it. Please pass that gratitude along as your budget meetings start to happen internally. I appreciate it. I think every resident appreciates it in their own way, right? As it impacts our lives. So thank you very much.
Thank you for the kind words.
I also wanted to echo the sentiments of other members of council. The Harvest Fest was really, really fun. it was great to see so many residents there. I had a great time. The food was great. There was no coffee truck, which was really sad.
There was, and they didn't show up, but.
Oh, they didn't show up. so-
Correct, they, no, we had a coffee truck,
Yeah.
and it was down at the kids zone, where we most needed, and. And it didn't, it was a mechanical issue with the truck, as was explained to us.
Yeah. But there were other, the bar tap truck was pretty cool, like just, it was interesting looking and
Yep.
what a clever way to reuse an older piece of equipment, so, thank you to everyone for all the work that went into that. That's a really fun event, and the Trail of Treats, as Councilor Newman is, the town manager mentioned, is becoming a bigger and bigger event. I know it's only the second year, but I can't even begin to imagine how many children were there. It was such a beautiful night on Saturday night, so I think that there might be room for some town support. That maybe some sort of help with parking and things like that. As it becomes a bigger event, we respond to those things, so kudos to Tapdo for coming up with a clever idea. And thank you to all the members of the community who volunteered a lot of time and effort. There were some really cool setups too. Even though I heard the Toy Story song over and over again, it's still really fun, so thank you. That's it for me. The next item on our agenda is communications and petitions from council persons.
Yes. Oh, I just wanted to thank the town staff for putting together the road salt task force report and also the report on the rec garage project. It was really good update, and I want to just also express gratitude towards all the work that's being done.
All hands on deck for this.
Yep. Yeah. I guess just one more question about the rec garage report. It looks like things are moving pretty rapidly for getting something under contract. I saw potentially early November, although it does depend on what this particular contractor comes back with. I don't know if it might make sense for the next couple of meetings, we just have a standing item on this, just because because updates are fairly rapidly.
Good idea.
Yeah. So as soon as we do have some of our contract, we'll have a better schedule for actually get stuff done. So that's I guess my agenda item request. But anyway, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Councilor Action?
Okay, I'll just obviously reiterate, everyone who said the Harvest Fest was fantastic. It was. With respect to the Trail of Treats, that was also fantastic. I talked to, I believe her name was Carrie Schneider. Either she took the lead or she played a big part in putting that together along with Tepto, and I think they did a fantastic job, and whatever the town can do going forward to help them, I think it would be great. I think there was even more kids this year than there was last year, so that's great. I also wanted to mention something that Ryan reminded me of with respect to the Conservation Corps. I believe Bob Rubino was recognized for all his years of dedication and all he's done for the town and or for the Conservation Corps with a bench at the most recent opening of one. So I think Bob Rubino well-deserved recognition there, so I just wanted to mention that.
Sure. I'm sorry the other firefighter passed away today in the line of duty, which actually next happens to be October 28th is National Responders Day. I know last year we did a citation. I don't know if we're gonna do one again this year. I just thought that was a thing we did once we started it. Remember Steve Jones last year said, since the White House recognizes it, it should actually be a proclamation. But anyways, so I appreciate their hard work and selflessness, what they do, and I just wanted to mention that. And then again, the Harvest Fest, like everybody's saying, it's a huge success. This year, Trish and I decided to put out those QR codes, and believe it or not, we hit over 400 QRs on that, which was huge. Fortunately, we had to take them down today because it ran out. I paid for it to put on the end of tonight, so. And then I just want to say, I think Chris just mentioned it too, congratulations to the Conservation Commission on their phase 3, which helps enhance it's a musical bridge to help people with disabilities, so it's another great thing the town's doing. That's all I have.
Yeah, I just wanted to add to my thanks to the town staff and everyone involved. I was unable to make it up to the Harvest Fest. But I did go to Trail of Treats. I mean, it's just the small details. A lot of people, separating certain candy that's peanut butter for kids that have peanut butter allergies. Obviously, that would be not good to have an issue regarding that. So just the small details. Yes. You reminded me, CERT, Brian, they're fantastic. I mean,
Aren't they?
I'm a little biased, right off of Tolland Stage Road, even for Harvest Fest, their ability to have people slow down and not come up Tolland Stage is a challenge. Same thing with Old Post. I know folks complain about speeds there, but they just did a fantastic job that whole day. Even losing light, the troopers that were involved too. I'm not sure how you would allocate them, if you could use them for Halloween night, not to take them away from their families on Halloween, but I think your ideas of cones and just more signage, having a trooper up there would be great. I'm up there with my child on Halloween, just like a lot of other folks in town, so I think the more that we could do for that night is another increasing event in town, just like Trail of Treats, would be great. I mean, they really do a fantastic job. Everybody involved, even trying to have folks park at different spaces. The big light that was adjacent to Crandall's Pond was helpful, losing light quick. So just wanted to thank all those volunteers. Did a great job.
Mine's more of a question. I was just remembering. So there was a rumor, I hope that's untrue, and I hope maybe someone can confirm if it's gonna be happening this year, but I heard that maybe the Santa sleigh.
It's fine.
Can you maybe elaborate a little bit?
No, I can't.
You can't elaborate?
I don't know
on-
enough about it.
Okay,
I asked the
but
same
it's
question. What
happening-
you just said, I asked.
Oh, so we don't know.
Yes, it's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen.
Yes.
Okay, that's good enough.
I know there were people got very anxious that day.
Yeah.
You know,
It was
and
like-
rightfully so, because it's a
Yeah,
great event.
It is.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm just gonna shut this thing down.
I don't know where it started from, but I'm glad it wasn't true.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Santa got a lot of calls that day.
We will move on to item 15, which is public listener participation on any subject within the jurisdiction of the town council with a 3-minute limit. If you are online, you wish to speak, you can raise your Zoom hand. If you're in the room, you can come on up or just stay there and speak. Wanna go, George? It's just you.
I ain't got nothing.
All right, no, anybody online? Seeing no participation, item 16 on our agenda is adjournment. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Moved by Councilor Moran, second by Councilor Newman. Is there any objection to adjournment? Objection. Objection. Without objection, we are adjourned. Thanks, everybody.